What's going on, family? Welcome back to Kingdom Discipleship. If you're new to this course, this is a place where simply we can be made disciples. The foundation of this whole thing is based out of Luke 24, where we see that Jesus took the disciples on a whole 2-hour Bible study on a road called Emmaus. It says he opened up the scriptures to them so that they understood that everything spoken in the Bible draws back to one person, and Jesus. So this whole life, if you're saved and going after Jesus and you're a believer, going towards the road of discipleship is what this course is all about. And we want to be made true disciples. Litmus test of true disciples is the fruit we bear, the life that we actually bring forth from following Jesus. Not every believer is a disciple, but we want to graduate from just being a believer, following Jesus at a distance, to coming close, coming near, and really leaning into everything he has to say, to follow him because we love him. So I invite you to come on board, and I welcome you to this course. Today, we're going to talk about the life of a forerunner and being great in the kingdom. Now, when I say being great, that is a huge thing right now in culture. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody has something that they want to do that means something in life, that really, when they are going through life, they want seasons to count. They want their life to count something, mean something, be something. They want their name to ring aloud for people to see. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do want to bring us into a paradigm shift, a mind shift to what does that even mean? Being great for what? To what end? To what cost? This is a theme that was all through the Bible, and especially in the New Testament that we're going to talk about in this session. But being great according to whose standards? According to, if you're a CEO, if you're a coach, if you're an athlete, fill in the blank. Everybody's desiring to be great, but who defines greatness? Who defines greatness? That's something that we have to come to grips with as a means to being great. Now, for me as an athlete, I think if I'm playing ball and my coach is telling me what I need to do, he's obviously setting the standard of, okay, Cade, you need to do this in order to be great. You can't run this way. You can't block this way. There's certain parameters that he has placed on my ability as an athlete so that I can be great. And I think Christ, the better coach, does the same thing with us. He puts parameters and boundaries in our life so that we can be great before him. We have to remember that how we live on the earth today defines how we will be known in eternity forever. And I don't think we think about that a lot because we're just kind of coasting by here and we're letting it all flesh out. But the reality is that time will come to an end. Your life will come to an end. And if you are a believer, if you love Jesus, your life will be beginning in eternity. But the concept I'm trying to bring here is that in eternity, you will be known for how you lived on the earth. And as an athlete, I keep bringing that back because I'm like, man, this speaks so much to me because I don't want to experience regret in eternity. And I don't think you do either. I don't think anybody does. I actually think feeling regret is one of the worst feelings anybody can feel. It's like there's not another option. There's not another redo. You don't get you don't get to redo the day, redo the moment, redo the season. And I just believe that if we align ourselves to live a life to not have regret in eternity, man, I just think we will be very, very grateful that when we look back on our life and we look over our shoulder, we want to be able to feel like, man, I capitalize on every moment that God put before me. I utilize my time well. I utilize my resources well. I utilize money well. Like nothing is a regret that we could experience. And so I'm thinking about a time when I was playing football in college, and I had the opportunity to start this game, and I drove us all the way down the field. We're in the red zone. If you don't know football, that's close to the touchdown. And they give me the ball. I'm about to score, right? And as I'm opening up to go in the end zone, the ball gets knocked out by a defender. And the ball fumbles in the red zone. They recover it, and they get the ball. I was so heated at that moment because I'm like, dude, you was right there. You couldn't like just punch it in, right? And we ended up losing that game by 3 points, which means if I would have scored, we would have won, right? And I felt for the first time in a very powerful way, very deep way, regret. Like, man, I let my team down. If I just did that one little thing different, tucked the ball a little bit different, then it wouldn't have panned out the way it did. I could have either sat in that, thank God for good mentors and coaches, but I could have sat in that regret and let that bleed over to every game after that. Instead, I ended up actually having the best game of my entire career after that game. My point is saying is like, man, regret is real. We're all going to feel it, but living a life of greatness puts us in position not to ever feel regret. And regret is also something that the disciples didn't want to feel either. They talked about greatness. They talked about, in some good contexts and in some, selfish contexts, like they wanted to be great in the kingdom. Like who doesn't want to be great, right? And this topic of greatness was a conversation for the disciples that were walking with Jesus, where they were part of a new coalition, a new ministry was birthed. Like Jesus was defying the teachings of the day. He was bringing something new and fresh on the scene that some questioned and some was a little skeptic about. And the conversation comes up with the disciples. On one end, they're like, hey, yo, Jesus, like, who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom? On other contexts, Jesus would tell them, hey, these are the parameters in order to be great in the kingdom. So I want to go through someone that is very special in the Bible, that who Jesus said. He said, there is no one greater born of a woman than that of John the Baptist. Let's get into it.